Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Masters of the Air Episode 8 review. Still shaky in parts, but an appreciated return to form. The following video contains spoilers. After a few confused episodes, Masters of the Air has regained its feet in Episode 8. Though still unsteady in places, it's a welcome return to form, especially since this is the penultimate episode of the Apple TV Plus series. With the finale coming up next week, Masters of the Air has little time to land, yet Episode 8 brings the big implications of D-Day, some new faces, and a build-up to a dramatic ending. The episode begins with a sophisticated opening scene that establishes the Tuskegee Airmen's remarkable skill. One of my main complaints about the program so far has been that the small number of crucial characters hasn't always worked, so bringing more even this late in the game is really welcome. D-Day. Soon after meeting the Tuskegee Airmen, we learn that the biggest day of the war is approaching. D-Day, also known as the Allied invasion of Europe. We experience the build-up through Crosby's eyes, which is an effective method of condensing such a large, historical event into something with personal significance. Crows, as we've seen throughout the series, takes the duty of assisting to prepare the invasion very seriously. It takes a toll on him, and he becomes pale, shaking, detached, and even has auditory hallucinations of a ticking clock. It's a great example of the huge pressure of organizing such a massive operation, and it emphasizes how important the next mission is. Crows collapses after being ordered to sleep. When he wakes up, an amused Rosenthal informs him that he slept through the entire D-Day. We get a breathtaking glimpse of the mission itself, with scores of planes in the sky. But that's all. It does feel strange not to experience the mission through Rosenthal's eyes, especially considering he is one of our main protagonists. In fact, Rosenthal is entirely absent from this episode, which seems surprising given that last week's show concluded with what appeared to be his critical decision to re-up. Again, when we only have a few significant people to focus on, excluding one is unusual, and it makes the program appear uneven. It's especially weird given that D-Day is such a watershed moment in both history and the series' plot. Too much has been packed into one episode. Day, the Tuskegee Airmen, and some changes for the POWs are a lot to cover in 50 minutes. When the prior two episodes were slower, it's unfortunate that these revelations couldn't have been stretched out and given more breathing room. Make or break. While those in East Anglia are preoccupied with D-Day, Egan, Clevin, and the others remain stranded in the prisoner of war camp. It's evident that Egan, in particular, is suffering, playing pretend baseball with himself and subsequently antagonizing the others before Clevin intervenes and the two brawl on the ground. The situation in the camp has been bad thus far, but the group appears to be holding up okay. Seeing Egan begin to crack serves as a reminder of how dire the situation is and how long the men have been held captive. Some fallen Tuskegee Airmen finally join the 100th in the camp, but this is where the show stumbles. During the war, the United States segregated its military because of Jim Crow prejudice. Masters of the Air makes an attempt to address this racism, but only superficially. Macon's question about whether any other country is better than the United States in terms of race feels especially tone-deaf either way. It hardly explains such prejudice, albeit these shortcomings are at least recognized. However, when the Tuskegee men arrive, things begin to change, and the captured men's lives are put in jeopardy. They're being fed information via their improvised radio, so they're aware of the invasion of Europe, but nothing has changed for them after a 2-month hiatus. It becomes evident that they must save themselves if they are to escape the camp alive. They begin to devise a strategy to recoup their strength while also preparing for every possible outcome, from execution to open warfare with the Nazi Guard. Jefferson and his mapping talents are critical to their objectives, implying that he and his companions will be a focus in the next finale. Perhaps this means seeing more of Ncuti Gatwa, who makes an impression despite his minimal screen time thus far. The episode concludes with the discovery that Russia successfully conquered Germany. If you know your history, you know what that means. The end of the conflict is near. It's unclear whether the POWs will make it out alive, but with only one episode of Masters of the Air left, we'll find out what happened to the bloody 100th shortly. Thank you for watching.